Pleasure Island for the development, construction, and operation of wind and solar energy facilities, a substation, data center, offshore energy hub, and other necessary, big old word. Okay, that word, facilities, okay. And what we like to do is a motion for approval. Councilman Lewis?
Motion for approval.
Second, Councilman Frank?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we would approve PR number 24-226 as presented. We're ready for question? No question, we're ready to vote. All in favor?
No, we got lights on.
Okay, no lights didn't come on time. Now, thank you, I hear you. Okay, now, Mayor Pro Tem, on questions.
Yes. So in the spirit of transparency for all of the people that are here, whether they are for or against this wind farm, I'm going to tell you about some of the problems that I see with this contract that came from our outside counsel that we hired to help us with this. First of all, there is a possibility of the city of Port Arthur losing federal funding in other areas of places that we receive federal funding for if we enter into this lease agreement. There was no appraisal done. The lease holder can assign the lease. What we are receiving is not market value for the property. This was not done under the RFQ process, which in the opinion of myself and others, it should have been done that way. There are some very strict timelines for different compliance issues in this contract. The enforcement remedies are not friendly to the city. Mortgage provisions are not in the favor of the city. The senior lender encumbers the land. We don't have enough control as the city over the project. We actually gave up the decommissioning reserve, so if the company goes bankrupt, we are stuck with the state law minimal protection. The production royalties, if there ever are any, are very low. Some other concerns that I have, and these were expressed to me by one of my constituents, and it really sums up all of the research that I've done and the reasons that I'm against this. Valid scientific arguments against building the wind turbines in Sabine Lake can be based on ecological, hydrological, and economic factors. First, ecological disruption. Sabine Lake is a vital estuarine ecosystem that supports diverse marine life, including fish, shrimp, and oysters. Wind turbine construction would require dredging, pile driving, and habitat destruction, which could disrupt breeding grounds for aquatic species, increase water turbidity affecting photosynthesis and submerged vegetation, introduce noise pollution that disturbs fish and bird populations, including but not limited to the migratory path of the Louisiana brown pelicans and other federally protected species. Hydrodynamic impact. The lake's natural water flow and sediment transport are essential for maintaining water quality and shoreline stability. Wind turbine foundations could alter currents and sediment deposition, leading to erosion or unintended silting in critical areas, affect salinity balance, which is crucial for estuarine species that rely on brackish water conditions. Third, storm and hurricane risks, which I'll remind everyone, we had a tornado go right through this area just a few months ago. Sabine Lake is in a hurricane-prone region. Wind turbines are vulnerable to high winds and storm surges, which could cause structural damage, leading to debris in the lake, increase maintenance and repair costs, reducing economic feasibility, pose a risk of oil or hydraulic fluid leaks from damaged turbines contaminating the water. Fourth, economic and recreational impact. Sabine Lake is a popular spot for fishing, boating, and tourism. Wind turbines could reduce access to fishing areas, affecting local fisheries and recreational anglers, diminish scenic value, potentially harming tourism revenue, and increase navigational hazards for boats, raising safety concerns. Sabine Lake is not a suitable location for wind turbines due to its ecological importance, hydrodynamic sensitivity, storm vulnerability, and economic reliance on fishing and tourism. Alternative offshore or land-based locations would be more appropriate for sustainable energy development. I'll give credit to Lisa Drago for writing this. She was unable to attend tonight and gave me permission to use this as part of my comments tonight.
Okay, Councilwoman Everfield.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. This project is proposed to be placed on Pleasure Island, which is a part of District 2. It has been brought to our attention last meeting with picket signs that there were a lot of racial innuendos surrounding this project. And I want to make clear that my decision to support or not support this project has nothing to do with the ethnicity or race of the developer. Please understand, my decision has everything to do with what's in the best interest of the city of Port Arthur. This project has not been in the best interest of Port Arthur. The way that the contract is written is not in the best interest of the city of Port Arthur. The way that the lease agreement has been written is not in the best interest of the city of Port Arthur. We've left money on the table that we need. And we need to make sure that we are being fair and just with ourselves. I welcome business to the city of Port Arthur. I support Black business in the city of Port Arthur. I look in the mirror too and see my brown skin. But I also support white business, Asian business, Arabic business. I really don't care because money is green. And that's what we need for the city of Port Arthur. So don't get that misconstrued at all, please. I've had conversations with the executives from TCEQ, from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and from the General Land Office. Although the area, proposed area, that's being requested is owned by the city of Port Arthur, we do not own all of the right-of-ways for permitting for these properties. And the General Land Office Commissioner has made it very clear that she will not support electrical lines running through Texas lands to support wind turbines. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has made it very clear that a portion of the requested property will not be allowed to be permitted. This is not at all a negative for wind turbines. I am looking at this project from the standpoint of, did the city of Port Arthur make the best business decision that will support us first? So I needed to make sure that my truth was put on record so that no one else can misconstrue my words or misunderstand my vote.
Councilman Doucette.
Yes. Once again, we all have our stance on this. And I've addressed it several times with people I made comments to who asked me where I stand. And I hear a lot of things that are said. I believe in making decisions based on information. That is factual, something I could support what I say. When I hear somebody say that if this project is done, we're going to lose federal funding, you only lose federal funding if it's going to be funded by the federal government. Okay? So that's not the case. I hear people talk about RFQ, request for proposal. We don't need to do RFQs. to lease property if someone asks for it. That's just how cities operate. Royalties. Royalties is something you do if you're doing a private-public partnership. This is not a private-public partnership. This is talking about just leasing the land. It's simple. Why did it take so long for us to get to this decision? I don't know. I don't even understand. We're talking about someone talking about not giving a permit if the lines cross state space or something. That's expected. That is why this has different levels. Leasing of the land has nothing to do with whether those turbines get built or not. The people who decides if those turbines operate in this city ain't sitting up here. They're going to have to go through state, TCEQ, and federal, EPA. Those are the people that's going to determine whether those turbines operate or not. For those who are opposing it, I support you. But if we stop it because you oppose it, what grounds do we have? We are a city. We don't get to operate like we want, or we shouldn't. And we shouldn't make decisions that are not right by what's written. I understand. When I sit in this seat, I'm the people's voice. You elected me to be your voice. And I hear you well. But when you elected me, I took an oath. I took an oath to enforce ordinances, policies, laws, and everything. And that's what this comes down to with me. Everybody wants to know how they want to vote. That's what comes down to me. So if anybody have a problem with the impact turbines will have on environment or climate, that should be addressed to the people who are going to give them permission and permit to operate, not us. I'm going to close with giving you a simple example, and I think everybody will be able to relate to it. If you want to build a liquor store and operate a liquor store in the city of Port Arthur, you must come to this council and this city. You must get permits to build it, and when you build it, you have to meet all of the codes in this city in order for us to say okay. But you can't sell no liquor because we don't have that authority. We don't have the authority. You have to go to the state. So don't confuse what we can and what we're responsible for doing and think that we're doing it because we're listening or we're trying to decide. So now I'm speaking only for Doucette up here because I'm going to vote today. But I don't find it a hard decision because I stay in my lane. I don't choose sides. But when I tell you today that this council does not make a decision on whether those wind turbines operate or not operate in the city of Port Arthur, I'm telling you a fact and I can prove it to you. And I'm telling you, when we vote on the lease agreement, it's not saying we support their wind turbines. Or we oppose them.
It's a lease. And like I said, and I always say, when people say things that are supported, I hear you. And I'm researching. I found it to be true. I've seen things that people say that are opposing it. I read all that. I know that's true. But whether it's true or not, it's got nothing to do with leasing land. So if we want to talk about where we stand and why we vote a certain way, I want to make sure I make it known why and what I'm doing. And if you talk to me afterward, I'll show you, I'll tell you the same thing. And if you question what I say, I'll show you where I'm getting it from. And it ain't gonna be from nobody's opinion. And like I say, just remember, the people that says whether those turbine turns or not in this city ain't this council. So whoever determines that, that's the people that we probably need to be talking to. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Councilman Frank?
Yes. For me, the decision that I will cast my vote for on today comes down to three things as I see it. First of all, I ask the question, does it bring growth and revenue to our city? The second question that I want answered is does it meet all of the standards contractually for our city? Does it meet all of the state standards contractually for our city? And then, for me, that third question that I asked as well, does the property come back to us if the project is not done? Those questions will be answered. Those questions have been answered, and I will cast my vote accordingly. Thank you.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes. I'll say once again, the worst thing that can happen to a project, the worst thing that can happen to is for a misinformed voter to go to the polls and vote, and an uninformed voter go to the polls and vote. And it's based on the information that they have heard. Now, this area that we're talking about is called the spoiled area. Why is it called the spoiled area? Because the city of Port Arthur, when they are digging out the widening and digging out the canal, they dumped all of the pollution and stuff, that's all the sediment, they dumped it in the spoiled area. Now, who in their right, I'm hearing that it impacting the crab, the fish, who in their right mind fish in the spoiled area, eat fish out the spoiled area? Nobody. Well, now we understand what happened. No, it's over time, and now, if the spoiled area is polluted, how it got polluted? The city of Port Arthur, gave the Corps of Engineers the right to increase the depth of the Intercoastal Canal, and they dumped it in that spoil area. And all that spoil area has been producing for us is mosquitoes every day. For years. That's where the mosquitoes are coming from. Now, as far as the bird patterns, that has already been studied. All the flight patterns has already been studied. Now you're talking about, we gave them permission to go in there and do a feasibility study. The company spent their own money, several $100,000, to go in there to see if it's, look at it, see if it was feasible. Well, they found out it is feasible. But now, guess what comes? Get another flag. Somebody sitting on a bench throwing a flag. If you're not on the field as an official referee, you can throw a flag. But people sitting on the bench throwing flags. People jumping off the bench, tackling folks going to make a touchdown. That doesn't work. What's that noise? My echo. Okay, but anyway, I've been supportive of this project. What it means to Port Arthur. We're gonna get quite a bit of revenue in the future. But let me back up a minute there. They wanted, after this company done spent their money to see if it was a feasibility. Now, all of a sudden, another flag is thrown. We need to get RFQs. Wait a minute. Now you triggered a lawsuit. They done found out it is feasible, and now other folks can come in. If you want to do something fair and level the playing field, you ask for RFQ, those things up front. But they chose to wait. Now the birds, all these patterns and environmental stuff, that doesn't know. If you take an opportunity to go all over Texas, the farmers have a windfall. The farmers are allowing these wind turbines on their properties. I mean, there's miles and miles of them all over Texas. We took a trip the other day, all over Texas. Now, as far as them, the storms and things like this going to impact them,
But they all on land.
is it going to impact them? Well, everything is built. All towers are built to 120 mile an hour winds or greater. Tell me, look at the refineries. Have any of you all have witnessed any hurricanes have tore up refineries? But have you ever seen one of them towers blown over a bent? No. Because they are built for 120 miles or greater. Not other things around it in that environment, yes. You have problems. They tap different lines. And another thing came up. If it's such a good project, why doesn't energy speak for it? It's totally unrelated. Energy is the sole provider of electricity. This company is going to be doing a data center, because all your refineries, like on your computers, you need more room to store data. You can put it in the cloud. This company here is going to be producing data places for the oil industry to store. They're going to be leasing from it, and we're going to be getting revenues from the electricity that's being produced. And in the long term, we're going to generate so much revenue in the future. And that's what the council's job is, to find new sources of revenue. And when we find new sources of revenue, what's going to happen with your budget, your tax rate, it's going to lower everybody's tax rate eventually. When we find new revenue, it's going to impact everybody's tax rate. Okay? Now, that has already happened. That has already happened in the past. Our tax rate used to be
Just a minute, please. Councilman, just make your statement direct.
I'm not addressing
not direct.
I'm not addressing anything. I'm not going to address anything.
Please, all of you, please refrain from responding. Thank you.
This project is a great project, and it's going to be beneficial to the city, and it's going to be beneficial to our citizens and everything, and it's going to impact our revenues, and that's what's going to flow into the budget, and the budget is funded by the tax rate also, and permits and what have you. This is going to be one great project, and you're going to find out how did we get along without it. This is a great project. But anyway, when I first came on the council, this company, I discovered this company was walking away. They was walking away from the project. They was tired of fooling with it. They had been here 8 months. My phone rang, and I was told about it, so I got involved. And we find out what the problems were, the council, work with the council, we solved all the problems, you know, did all the things that we could possibly do that we got control of. And that's where we're at. Now, this lease will give them the opportunity to go out to the state and federal to get their permits and whatever. We have no control over those things. And I don't want to be redundant. We don't have no control over those things, but this is a great project.
Thank you. Okay, we're ready to vote. All in favor?
Point of order. There's a
We're
lot
going
of,
to supplement, stop. No, just stop, please. Now, first you said point of order, and you continue to talk. Now, I need to recognize you so you can state your point of order. We're going to keep the decorum. Now, let's start it over again. Go ahead, ma'am.
point of order.
Okay, now I recognize you. What is your point of
Thank
order?
you. There's a number of people here in the gallery that would like to be heard.
Okay, no one out there raised their hand.
You didn't ask for questions. All you
Okay,
said we
well,
were ready to vote.
well, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Thank you. Okay, you're not my teacher. I've learned already. Let's keep that straight. Okay, now hold on, wait a minute, stop. Who wants to speak? Okay, City Secretary, we've already made plans for all of this. We've already, I mean, I've done this just out there for the Secretary. City Secretary is going to come up. Any person who wishes to speak, you have that opportunity. You only have 3 minutes. She has 2 signs in her hand. She'll let you know when you have 1 minute, and she will tell stop. Now, if you fail to stop, I have police officers or peace officers. We just have them to escort you away from the podium. You can remain in the room, but they're going to escort you away from the podium because your time has been expended. I want everybody to understand, okay? While you're speaking, you're going to look here where the city secretary is, okay? You don't have to use your 3 minutes. You can speak in 1 minute. But when you get to that time limit, she's going to let you know. I would then ask you to stop, okay? You begin by saying your name and your address, okay? Sir, go right ahead.
All right. Is it on? Yes. My name is Hilton Kelly, and I am the founder and director of the Community Empowerment Development Association, 600 Austin Avenue, Port Arthur, Texas, 77640. For 25 years, I've been fighting for environmental justice, and what that means and what it looks like. I've been fighting for the environment of this great city, this great state. I've been fighting to protect our waters. I've been fighting to protect our air. I've been fighting to protect our land. And what have I been fighting? Who I've been fighting against? Those big polluters that dump tons and tons of benzene, which is a known carcinogen, sulfur dioxide, ethylene oxide. We have industries that petition all over the world to bring in chemicals to incinerate in the city of Port Arthur. Chemical incineration facilities, chemical processing facilities, sulfur dioxide facilities that dump tons and tons of sulfur dioxide into the air with impunity. TCEQ can't seem to stop them. EPA doesn't seem to stop them, or do they care to stop them? I remember when there was a ship and a tanker and a barge collided in our ship channel, and all of West Port Arthur smelled like one big gasoline station. I remember seeing spill after spill happen in the Gulf of Mexico, and watching the oil drift into these estuaries and whatnot. Nobody said a mumbling word. But now we're talking about a wind turbine. A wind turbine that's going to have underground cables, yes. But what about all these industries that dump every day? And if anybody know anything about the industry and when EPA came about to help protect human health and to protect the estuaries and our wildlife and our forests and our air, it was 1970. I was born in 1960. Prior to 1970, I grew up in West Port Arthur, smelling the sulfur. I remember kids with sores on their arms. I remember the kids with asthma, couldn't breathe. I know about the number of people that have died from cancer. And right now, I'm sure if I turned around and asked everybody, how many people know 5 people who have died from cancer? And everybody in here would raise their hand. I'm here to let y'all know something right now. If we're concerned about the baby fish and the baby crab, we should have been concerned a long time ago. Because the Sabine Lake, the ship channel is polluted. And that sludge they dig up to deepen and widen this ship channel so bigger ships carrying petroleum could come in and process it and dump more material into our air is killing us. And if you're eating out of that ship channel, I would urge you not to do so. Thank you for my time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Begin by stating your name and your address, please, sir.
Sean Clifford.
The town person will be right there.
Sean Clifford, 900 South Wind, Port Arthur, Texas, over on Pleasure Island. As somebody that lives on Pleasure Island, I can tell you, I don't want a big windmill sticking outside of my house. But more than that, it's about the math. So I worked for Siemens Automation for many years. Siemens builds the majority of wind turbines all over the world. You see them everywhere as they come out of Germany. They last 45 years. How long does it take to pay for them? 99 years. That math don't math. So these people that build them after they break and they can no longer be fixed without replacing them, who puts that bill? The cities do. And these guys don't do this because they're just going to hand a big pile of money over to the cities. They do things like this because they're going to put a big pile of money in their pockets. That's just a fact. So before we get all high and mighty that this is a great project, really think about the numbers and the math. Because the last thing we need is to line our Gulf Coast with windmills that are going to drive everybody away from here. The gas and oil, yeah, that's one of the things we got. It's ugly. I drive past it every day. But it supports a lot of families. Thousands of people go to work there. How many people are going to go to work on a windmill? Zero. Except for very highly paid technicians that don't live here. They fly them in from Germany. They land them on top with a helicopter. That guy goes inside, does his little thing, flies back. It costs 50 grand for one guy, one day to chase some oil, just to chase some oil. And by the way, they're not petroleum free. As soon as one of the bearings goes out, it leaks all of its oil into the water. So that goes right back to our pollutant. I agree, our waters are definitely polluted. We don't need to help it out. And we do have a good fishing ecosystem. I fish it all the time. So before we just go and destroy it, let's think about that. The math does not math. That's all I got.
Council, how are you today? My name is Reverend Dr. Simeon Queen. I live at 924 South Wind in Port Arthur, Texas, on Pleasure Island. I too am a resident. I live on the same street as Mr. Clifford. I have read the same things that he has read, but what I have not taken into context, and I think the majority of people here have not taken into context, is the excellence of Mr. Harry Crawford III. He has reached out to the third best wind turbine maker in the country. It's the highest of quality. It has nothing to do with Siemens. It has everything to do with actually bringing a product to Port Arthur citizens that edifies the community and also edify that of our environment. Also, there's been questions about that of the bird family. I'm an avid bird watcher on the island. And what I've learned is that the project that Diligence is doing is outside of the bird passage. Okay? On top of that, another thing that I think people are dismayed about is they say we're going to lose federal funding. If you know anything about me, I've been a professional for over 25 years in fund development, grant writing, and all of the above. And what I've learned is this project is not asking for federal funding. It's private funding. So the citizens of Port Arthur won't lose any money. And we talk about the water bottoms of Port Arthur, Texas. in 1932, there was an agreement because the water bottoms were tainted to give Port Arthur those acreage. And in the midst of giving that acreage, it's of record with the Land Bank of Texas, the Grand Land Office, which is actually public record now, so everybody can go and look for themselves where those water bottoms were damaged. And at the time, Councilman Bay said it best, the Corps of Engineers started to drudge. And those drudges, they put in the spall area that created 2 types of mosquitoes. This is of record. And also caused malaria, of record. But now we reach a point where those spall areas have been dipped on for over 100 years and dumped on the community and the citizens of Port Arthur. And now we have a problem. But one thing that I have to say before leaving is we have major industry that comes to our city each and every day. And I know I have 1 minute left. But in the midst of that, Mr. Crawford has agreed to give his community benefits plan to the forefront, which has never happened. $31 million to the citizens of Port Arthur. $12 million for training on those wind turbines for local individuals, as well as $10 million in housing, as well as to plant seed in the 50 businesses every year in Port Arthur, Texas, of a minimum of $50,000 each. He said it from his mouth. He's not waiting for a grant to come in. He's not waiting for any of this to happen. What he is trying to do is build our city. And it's shame on you, council members, who are fighting against industry that actually builds our city with renewable energy. With renewable energy, especially when we have 10 other major refineries here and you haven't said a mumbling word.
Come on.
Not a mumbling word. But each and every time this comes before this dais, we have disagreement and disrespect. 3 minutes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to go virtual once we complete everything here. Go right in.
My name is Susie Sherfus. I live at 806 South Wind. I'm a neighbor of both of these 2 gentlemen on Pleasure Island. And so I thank you all for being here and giving time for us to address our different perspectives. I'm going to start out by saying that I feel like Mr. Crawford is probably a very, very professional person, and if it were anything other than wind turbines, I feel like we would welcome this business, this community to be able to hire mega people and keep this product rolling, because as we know, we are an industry area. I smell, which the people on the west side I'm sure do as well, the German pellets. And when those moved in and one of them caught fire, for months it was horrible when I just went over the bridge. I can't imagine living across the street from Valero Refinery that got to smell it most every single day. And there are different examples of that. The refineries have been here since way before me, so I don't know the difference of not having them. I know that I drink our water. I know that I live in the marina. I know that every bit of the marina is spoil area, because that's why we have to build our houses on pylons, because it's not solid ground. It takes, my understanding, over 100 years to make that happen. When they first dredge, I'm sure it is devastating to the environment. But there's one more thing that's devastating into the environment, and that's some of the products that make up these wind turbines. And some of the products are extremely, extremely toxic to the environment, such as something by the name of BPA. And when we see things that are plastics and they're BPA free, okay, that sounds great. But this is actually, the resin of the wind turbines is made out of BPA, which it's called blade shedding, and it begins within the first 4 years. And as the turbines are turning, then this resin on the outside starts to release into the air, releases into the water. And with the understanding of an article from Mark Mallett of Home Environmental Human Health in a November of 2024 issue, the gentleman, I can't believe pronounce his first name, Solberg Papers, he stated that it's calculated that 20 turbines, 130 meter rotor diameter, could release up to 24.8 tons of material over the course of their lifetime.
Excuse me.
Do I have a minute left?
No, ma'am. Time is up.
Okay. Well, it's like,
Okay, thank you. Time is up. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Karen.
thank
God
you
bless
very
you.
much.
God bless you. Is there anyone else?
Hello, councilmen and women. My name is Linda Baker. I reside at 2710 Evergreen Drive. Myself, my family, and my business, we moved here from Central Texas 4.5 years ago. And I want to say that as an owner of a business, we do software development, merchant services, and point of sale worldwide. And we do a lot of city, state, and federal business with RFPs. It gives the city and any of those entities the ability to be able to vet the business that's trying to come in and do the job. And that is absolutely mandatory, so that you know you're getting what you need for what you want for the betterment of the city. With that comes along with vetting. Does anybody know what Mr. Crawford's track record is? Has he been successful in doing this before? I don't want to repeat what everyone else has about the detriment of the environment, but I really think that the councilwomen have it planned. My former life as an international corporate law, sorry, I'm nervous, with specialization in contracts, once it's written, the only way you can get out of it is through a lawsuit. If I didn't hear that it was for the betterment of the city, I didn't hear about all the money that was coming in, I didn't hear any of that. But I heard and understood exactly what is in the agreement. And I think for that, you should absolutely reconsider moving this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Karen.
Hi, good evening, Council. I'm Tammy Kutzer, the Director for the Convention and Visitor Bureau for the City of Port Arthur, and we're housed inside the Civic Center. And I'm here tonight just to solely speak on tourism. And tourism is a viable economic engine for the City of Port Arthur, and it should continue to grow. Tourism should be one of our future biggest economy generators. We are surrounded by water, we are surrounded by marsh, we are surrounded by so much that so many cities would give so much to have. And just to give you a couple of numbers, a lot of the same statistics or a lot of the same things I mentioned were things that Councilman said Ms. Drago had supplied, so I won't, there's a lot of people here tonight, I'm not going to go through all of that. Birding, it's not just about a single bird. Our bird watchers that come to Sabine Woods, that come to Pleasure Island, that come to our area, gave in 2024 $6,141,828. They stay an average of 1.9 days, 13,345 trips, which totals 25,806 days. Now, we have all of the birding sites, Pleasure Island, everything is geo-fenced, so that's how we gather our data. A birder in Port Arthur typically spends $238 a day, and we gather that data by polling birders. The fishing for our area, there was a study done, it's called Economic Impacts of Recreational Fishing in the Sabine Lake Estuary. This was done by Texas A&M AgriLife Extension and Sea Grant, Texas. This is a 2016, but it says that the economic impact of recreational fishing of just Sabine Lake Estuary was $42,255,000. And so in 2024, based on our geo-fenced area, we estimate that's 58 million now. But this was a study done by the state of Texas, by Texas A&M AgriLife and Seacoast. So this was in 2016, said $44 million. So tourism should be one of the future industries of Port Arthur. It should continue to grow. Fishing and birding are two of the major things that we have going for us, as well as Pleasure Island has always been called the diamond in the rough and waterfront development on Pleasure Island. And so I'm just here to seek on behalf of tourism that birding and fishing, so it's not just about a single bird, it's not just about a pathway, it is about the possible impacts on tourism and the future of one of our economic generators, one that could be great, so, and should be great for this area. So that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kyle Kimball, Port Arthur Area Shrimpers Association. I have a shrimp boat at Sabine Pass, and talking about the fish and everything not edible, shrimp are bottom feeders, okay? And everybody in here eats shrimp, I'm assuming, because I sell a whole lot of them in the area, and that's right from this area, okay? We have a lot of things on these wind turbines that are not discussed. I know you talk about how good they are. There's places where they put the blades at, okay? They're buried. They're so toxic, they have no way of getting rid of the blades. Okay, not to mention the oil, the transmission lines, everything else that has to do with these things. It is not as y'all think and as good as what y'all have y'all's information on. Me and my wife have done a lot of studies and got a lot of information from a lot of people. If y'all want paperwork on it, we'll get y'all paperwork on it. She's got it out in the car out there. But this stuff is not where it's put out to be. Anyhow, I just wanted to make it known that we do shrimp out of this area. We make our living. I fished in that Sabine Lake area too. And there's a lot of fishermen out there in that area. Y'all need to consider a lot of things on top of that. This is not roses. I don't know where they come up with the ideas, but if y'all really do some research in on it, just a little bit, y'all find out where it really stands. Anyhow, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? You go?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chuck Benson. I reside at 2366 62nd Street, Port Acres. I heard Mr. Kelly talking about all the economic impact. Mr. Kelly, I assume you're familiar with the Bailey dump site over in Bridge City that's got all the signs around it?
Yeah.
Okay. I happen to know about it because that's some of my family. You talk about the toxic environment that goes on in the waterways that they did and they dug up and put in. If that was true, sir, there'd be very toxic signs all in that spillway, and I don't see any. And then we talk about the fish and the environment and things like that. I was born and raised here. I pulled shrimp nets, feed my family when the fall industries went on strike, and there was no other thing to eat but the food that was in our lake and our estuaries. I still eat the fish and stuff out of those estuaries. I'm not glowing and I don't have cancer. And some of y'all are talking about the same stuff, the food. I've seen y'all at Kim's and Marie Seafood buying shrimp and fish and taking it home and feeding it to your families, and y'all worried about it up here now, let me tell you. Okay? Do I think this project's good for Port Arthur? No. I hear my councilman talking about that he's going to make the decision based on what he feels is right. You know, we don't have to worry about the state and all that saying no. Y'all have the power to do it right now. They do. It's as simple as a vote. It's as simple as a vote. That's all I got to say.
Good evening, Council. I'm Harry Crawford. I'm apparently in Texas, of course. The developer that's looking to come to Port Arthur to do business. If it was a situation where we were going to hurt people, we wouldn't be here. We haven't been in business as long as we have, for over 25 years, killing people. I heard Mr. Clifford say that there's people out here that all they're doing is putting money in their pockets. Well, we came here to do business with you today. There's our money on a piece of property that hadn't got a dime in 125 years. The first year's rent is $27,300. Here it is right here, in case somebody's worried about the check bouncing. We use environmentally safe products, the best in the world. There's places to put our wind turbine blades because they're made out of bamboo. They're not made out of anything that's going to kill the people. We don't have carcinogens. We use environmentally friendly products. And so that's why we're here today. And I pray that there will be a lease that go forward and I can leave this money and get my receipt.
Lisa Martin, 2363 65th Street. I haven't heard anything here today that says this lease will benefit the city of Port Arthur at all. Nothing. I'm not sure what's in the contract, but I haven't heard anything at all that says it's going to benefit the city. And to say it's going to lower our taxes, that's really not true, and you know that, right? And the city's not going to make money off of this, and people's not going to be working out there. It's not creating jobs. I don't see any reason for y'all to vote for this lease. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, how you doing? My name is David Jones, 11th Street, Port Arthur, Texas. And I just want to go ahead and hit the elephant in the room, right? I heard one of the council members was talking about all of these problems. We're not going to receive money. It's a lot of issues going on with it. But where was this concern when we signed that Simpler deal? The Simpler deal, they have a permanent easement for $7,775. That's forever. That's one-time payment. That's not monthly. And also they have the right to go ahead and abandon everything, including the 42-inch pipeline. Where was the concern with all that, right? This city attorney right here is the one that done it. She was supposedly competent enough to sign that agreement, but yet she had to hire a counsel for this agreement, but she has experience in a previous agreement in one of the cities where she came from. So which one is it? Is she competent and she got the city screwed over with the Simpler deal? Or that she refused to do this and have some of her colleagues, her attorney colleagues, eat some money? I think the city council need to go ahead and look at the competency of this city attorney to see what job that she was doing or not doing. That needs to be investigated. Thank you.
Point of order, man. No. Someone else. Okay, someone. Okay, just come on up, please. Sir. I got it.
I said I wanted to make a point of order.
Go right ahead. What's your point of order?
My point of order was that that our attorney was not the attorney of record for the Simpler deal.
And these are statements during this. I can understand that, but to try to correct someone while they're speaking
I understand,
and change their beliefs.
But we are in a climate. We
Go
are in a climate where individuals are making assertions and making statements that are not true. And if you don't correct something, it becomes truthful. So you gotta correct it as it happens. It's called fact checking.
Thank you.
So that's important. Thank you.
Thank you, Candy. Go right ahead.
My name is Dante Brown, 4130 Philmont Avenue, Port Arthur, Texas. I think we're being very selective in our outrage. There's been a lot of questions that's been asked about this, and there was opportunities for individuals to come. Like I didn't know anything about wind turbines, and there was a tour offered to one of Mrs. Crawford's wind turbine farms, which I attended and gathered that information I needed. And then there was another person who said how does it benefit Port Arthur? Well, I own a security company here, and who we have vetted, Mr. Crawford. Our franchise has over 13,000 employees worldwide. And what we have concluded is that his business model, it improves the quality of life for the citizens in the district that it serves. So if we are, I just think we're being very selective. We did our due diligence, and his proposal for the wind turbines will help and benefit the citizen of Port Arthur directly, because someone who has had conversations with him, and we've had, I know that individuals who, most of our guards are underemployed, but with this project, we can offer full-time employment to all of our guards. And let me back up a little bit. All of our guards reside in Port Arthur, but if this was to proceed, then we would be able to offer full-time positions to all our guards who reside in the Port Arthur city, and that contributes to the tax revenue, and it contributes to the economic and the revenue in general here in Port Arthur. So, I mean, and we're just being very selective in our outreach. I mean, if we had an opportunity to come gather information, he offered a tour for his facility. No one showed up. I just think if you would have came, you would have a different perspective, because it changed mine. Because I was initially against it as well, because I'm like, this is probably just a quick money grab, but I'm done. Okay.
Thank you. You have 1 minute.
No, but I'm just saying.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Good evening, council.
Put it down.
My name is Curry Flood, and I live at 4221 Jimmy Johnson Boulevard. I had the opportunity to go on the tour with Mr. Crawford. I asked a lot of questions. And growing up as a little child, I saw the wind turbulence in going to Los Angeles, and we were able to go and visit wind turbulence. What we want to keep in mind is that what these wind turbulence would do for the community, what it would do for the city. We have a lot of outage in Port Arthur area just on small rain. I sat a week ago in 5 hours of dark, and it was very hot. And for people that have like asthma, it causes where you cannot even use your machine to save your life. I understand about the birds and all the things that we are concerned about, but we need to take in consideration maybe some of the people in here may not ever experience outage, but there are a lot of us that are experiencing outage that energy is not able to keep things afloat. We live in an area that is filled with hurricanes and tornadoes and high winds, and it's not being able to, the sustainability is not happening in our area with energy. So we need to keep in mind that what is a life value? There are a lot of elderly people that need their electric, and these wind turbines will combine with energy and produce and cover thousands and thousands of homes, and we need to consider that. That's all I have to say. Thank you, and I'm glad that it's bringing business to Port Arthur, and I know that it will provide jobs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council, for hearing us tonight. My name is Holland Hoffer. I live on 3720 Pleasure Island. My family moved to Beaumont in 1906. I personally was born in Dallas. I moved here in 2020 for the sole purpose of enjoying what Sabine Lake has to offer. I initially was renting an apartment, but I enjoyed it so much that I bought my house on Pleasure Island and moved here permanently. I don't have any children. I don't use any of the city services, and I pay an absolute premium in taxes, which goes to helping this community. I don't take, I give. My dream as a little boy, which I found out in one of my third grade papers just recently, was to move to the ocean and live by a house by the beach where I could go fishing. I've worked hard my entire life to build that dream, and I found it here in Port Arthur in Sabine Lake. This wind farm will completely destroy not only my dream, but every other single person that uses this area for any reason, whether it be fishing, boating, birding, or relaxing. We have a real treasure down here, and let's not destroy it for the greed of a select few people. This project is not about energy or helping the local community. I'm sorry to the last one that spoke, but there is absolutely no way that those turbines are going to power the grid or have anything to do with the local energy market here. And if you know energy or know how the grid works, that will never happen. Never happen. I could give you 1,000 reasons why this project is bad for the environment, but I'll leave that up to the experts. There's plenty of them that'll let you know. Anyone with basic common knowledge knows this project is an absolute disaster. There was a petition shown at the last meeting with 100 questionable signatures for this project. And here's a legitimate document with over 450 signatures against this wind farm project. The document with 100 signatures was paid for by Mr. Crawford because he bought every one of those people a meal in order to get their signature. Wait, excuse me, I'm not done. I'm not done.
No, hey, you're gonna be done. Now, hold up. I'm not gonna let you take control of my meeting. You've been doing real well. Okay? Now let's stop there. Come on. All right.
Okay. These signatures on here, on this document, were done by concerned citizens. They didn't get a penny for their signature. And there's also another document by change.org that's going around right now for the wind farm. It has 61 votes. There's 495 as of, at 5 o'clock today when I took this picture. If Diligence, okay, I'll skip that because I'm not going to talk with Mr. Crawford. That's going to bother people, okay? Initially building something offshore had nothing to do with Port Arthur. They got denied, so they're here saying now they're putting the city of Port Arthur first. The city is not important, and it didn't have anything to do with the initial plan.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you for hearing everybody. Please vote on the importance of the citizens.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
My name is Ronnie Moon, born and raised in Port Arthur, live in Diligence, Texas. You all know that. I've been up here several times before. I've been before the city council for over 30 or so years now, off and on. Spent half my life on Pleasure Island. Best thing that ever happened to me. Family, friends, working people. We spent our time out there fishing, crabbing, bird watching, duck hunting, whatever we thought we could get away with. We did it for years. It's unbelievable. I've been trying to sell y'all on it for years. You're going to do what you're going to do. But please remember, we are in a community city. It's all around us. Let the people have a little bit. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
How you doing? Dave Roberts. I have a piece of property on Highway 82, South End Pleasure Island, Port Arthur. So I'm here for this approval of this project and everything. So I was born and raised here in Southeast Texas. Spent a lot of time on Pleasure Island growing up. Love to hunt, love to fish. This is one of the most beautiful places that I have ever laid eyes on, and there's no doubt about it. Even though we're surrounded by a bunch of industrial stuff around, still though, I've been fortunate enough to travel around to some beautiful places, and I still get off the plane and come straight here and spend a lot of time. I bought a piece of property with hopes to start a lodge, fishing lodge one day, get my captain's license, and I want to share the beauty of this area with other people around, which will in turn bring more people here, more tourism, more everything. I know Miss Tammy here, I have written blogs for the city of Port Arthur, encouraging people to come here and come fish, come bird watch, just come see the area. Like I said, I think it's something special, and I think if you put wind turbines up, you're going to drive them people away. Tourism is a big industry. She said the numbers. Those are pretty good numbers there, if I had to say so. Something about the wind turbines. They're carbon neutral, they say. Of course, the wind turbine themselves doesn't produce any carbon. But how much diesel is going to have to be burned on the boats, on the helicopters, on everything, assembling these things, dragging them out there, putting manpower out there to get them out there? A lot of diesel is going to be burned, so you ain't saving the environment by doing it. The proposed land is for at least is 2,200 acres. Was it Mr. Bailey?
Mr. Hilton Kelly.
Mr. Kelly, you talk about, I know you want to breathe good fresh air, clean water. I think there's better ways to do it. Randomly enough, the 2,200 acre lease, if you just plant trees for 2,200 acres, you can provide enough fresh air, clean air, for 36,000 people a year. That's more than half the people in Port Arthur. You can do that just with planting trees. Also, the bird watching is a big thing here. If you put these turbines up, you can get rid of that. I know the city wanted to make Port Arthur be an official bird watching area. That's gone. You put the wind turbines up. Mr. Doucette, I do like your analogy you had there with the liquor store. It's my understanding that you said that even you can approve a liquor store, but you have no say-so to do with selling the actual liquor. Same thing with this wind turbine project. If a bunch of people here said that they didn't want a liquor store in your community, would you say, okay, you can build a liquor store with no problem? But look, so what I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. This company here is gonna come in and they're gonna throw their money on the table. They're gonna say a lot of things, and they're gonna say how good they're gonna do for the community. The question you need to be asking yourself is how this may hurt the community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Douglas Smoots. I live at 2248 17th Street. Mr. Harris, I met Mr. Harris and we had a meeting, and the things he's wanting to bring to the city of Port Arthur that caught my attention was he was going to do employment first to the people in Port Arthur. Even if he had to do classes where they need to clean their life up to go to work. He was going to call in outside people to do the job right here in this city. And he coming in to invest money in the city, so who would want that? That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Bruno. I grew up at 5042 Lakeshore Drive and at 710 Houston Avenue. My dad owned Alamo Service Station. Most of y'all still know him if y'all were long-timers like I am.
Your present address.
My present address is 2425 Evergreen Drive, and I also own rental property around me. This is my city. This is the city I love. This is the city I moved back home to after college. This is the city that I grew up in eating crabs. This is very emotional to think that y'all would come in and ruin our city with something that is not good for the community. Look at the research of everywhere that they've ever put a turbine. Don't do that to our city. This is my home. I plan on living here the rest of my life. Do you? Do they? Just think about it. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Harry Gunner. I grew up on 248 Emory Lane here in Port Arthur, Texas. I went to undergrad and I went to work for a Fortune 100 company. I completed that job and moved into healthcare. After I moved into healthcare, some family situations took place and I had to come back home. When I came back home, I couldn't get a job at one of the plants. One of the plants was one of the places that I was told, you know, you can make some good money. Well, that opportunity wasn't there for me. I spoke to a council member at the time, and my understanding has been that when conversations take place with the big oil and gas companies, it's often said that there's not a good enough talent pool for employees to work there here in Port Arthur. What I understand is that there will be training in place to train and help residents here in Port Arthur, Texas. The other thing is, if there's going to be new workers, there's going to be new income to be brought here and spent here. There will be an opportunity for more homes to be built, which increases property taxes for the city, if I'm not mistaken. So I, as well, want to be able to come back to my hometown and represent for the people that taught me and raised me. And I didn't have an opportunity there, but I feel like I might have an opportunity here. So I just want to say on that behalf, I'm here for more jobs in Port Arthur, Texas.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Mary Touche. I live at 2104 10th Avenue, right here in Port Arthur, District 2. The gentleman that had the deal about the change.org, thank you very much. I'm the one that started the one that was against it, because there are so many reasons why to be against it. I recently found out in another country that it was one of the very first wind farms, and it's time to change the turbines. So they check the price compared to what it would cost today to repair them, to change them out to new, compared to demoing the property. They're going to have to demo the property because it's too expensive to replace it. The amount of percentage that they made off of the wind turbines was 19% out of what they cost to have it put in. That's not good. That's not money for Port Arthur, not at all. And the refineries, you're saying the energies can go to refineries. Refineries have their own power plants. I know for a fact because I worked in PS4 during the CEP project for Motiva. That's one of the jobs that they actually said, we're going to try to hire Port Arthur people first. I was not living in the city of Port Arthur at the time, but I do now. I was born and raised here, and they couldn't even provide enough employees to be able to sponsor the percentage of what they promised to bring in from the city of Port Arthur. So the wind turbines isn't going to be able to do it either. The deal about the contract, has it all been agreed on? Have all of y'all agreed on the actual written contract? Is it signed? No, it's not, because somebody would have said it tonight. My understanding is that the city of Port Arthur sent one to Mr. Crawford and his legal team 2 weeks ago. They have yet to answer back. So why are we even bringing it up to a vote today if we do not have a signed contract? Agreement, a lease agreement. There's no agreement. So why are y'all even voting on whether or not to approve it or not? It's not ironed out. It's not ironed out.
Thank you.
My deal would be to postpone it until everything to be worked out, then bring it back up.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Karen Baker. I was raised at 6120 Charles Avenue in Augusta, Texas. I am a graduate of Stephen F. Austin High School, so I definitely know the deal dealing with refineries. It's a shame that when you look on social media and they are calling Port Arthur one of the poorest cities in the States. And the people that live elsewhere, and we are calling half of Port Arthur mid-county. I think that Diligence, what they are bringing to the table is very good for the city of Port Arthur. I think it's good for economical growth as far as jobs, bringing people to Port Arthur. I'm not a bird watcher. I may fish and crab, but I can go to Galveston, I can go to Kemah, I can go to any other areas versus shrimping and fishing in spoil land or whatever the situation may be. I really agree with the wind turbines. I did my research as far as the pros and cons, and it's no worse than the refineries that are here in the city of Port Arthur. So I think, like I said, I think it is a good economical growth for the citizens and the city of Port Arthur. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, people of Port Arthur. I'd like to offer my name is Stephen Seals. I live off 2710 Evergreen Drive. I'd like to offer a different perspective here tonight. So, I'm a single father. My daughter and I moved here last May. I'm new to the area. I have no biases. I know nothing of the area. I don't know the history that much. I cannot make any assumptions of anything. What I do know is I know people, I know numbers, and I know economics. I graduated top of my class from Purdue Global University in business, and I even excelled with Professor McDermott in macroeconomics. So I hear a lot of talk of jobs, and that's good. Job growth is good. How many jobs? Again, numbers. How many jobs are we talking? Are we talking a few jobs? Are we talking a few dozen? Are we talking a few hundred jobs? Taxes. It has been said, I've heard, let me say it that way, that the power from these windmills will be free to the public. Is that correct? If that is so, then how are we going to lower taxes while providing free energy? I offer an argument I had with someone from Finland who is very a socialistic state, and they themselves across the board pay no less than 60% in taxes because they have free school and free power. With that being said, I don't feel that this would be a strong fit for this community. And also, yes, is there going to be pros to this? Sure, there's two sides of a coin. There's heads and tails. There will be pros, there will be cons. Everything comes at a cost. The real question is what is that cost you're willing to pay for the pro you're willing to gain? And I give back my time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to call for the vote.
Just a second. I want to see if the person was online, was remaining, but is she still there? The person online? She left several minutes ago. Okay, she did, but I just want to acknowledge her. Okay, I can't get a response. I can't get a response from the person who's online. I cannot get a response from the individual who's online. For the third time asking for a response from the individual who was online. That is all in the negative. What we'll do, we're ready to vote. Did you need to get back over there since okay.
As for a roll call vote.
Okay, a roll call vote has been requested. I think that can be granted. Go right ahead, City Secretary.
Mayor Pro Tem Beckham?
No.
Councilmember Doucette?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton Everfield?
No.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Barty?
Yes.
The measure passes.
Measure passes. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, please, no outbursts, we have.
I'm Harry Crawford, managing member of Diligence Offshore Services.
I'm Paulette Crawford, also a member of Diligence Offshore Services.
Yep, we come today to say thank you to the City Council. It's been a long time coming, you know, we got a lot of time involved, and we're looking forward to bringing the jobs to the community and the investment itself. You know, the data center is one that's going to create a bunch of jobs, high-tech jobs, and we believe that, you know, with the right guidance, the right team that we have, everything's going to work out just fine.
Yeah, we look forward to doing all the things that we said we would do for this city. We're hoping to see a lot of economic growth, and we hope to be able to have people really come to the city for all that it's worth. So we believe that it's a beautiful place also, but we really like to bring more economic stimulus here as well.
Yeah, and we want to thank our lawyer back here, Chris, with Baker Botts. They've done a great job of bringing us to the close of being able to get this lease taken care of. And, you know, it's a great day for Black America, man. We're the only Black-owned developer in the history of this country. So, you know, we pride ourselves on Black excellence. And today, Black folks won.